Hello, Namaste, Jai Kali, Jai Mahadev, Jai Bharat. I hope everyone is doing good and taking good care of themselves. Remember, if you're fit and fine, you can take better care of your loved ones. So today I'm going to talk about toxic mother. We all had heard about Mother India, Mother the Great, Mother the Goddess. So today we are going to understand what is the other side that people don't talk about, or people hesitate, or people don't feel comfortable talking about. As we all know that, like in our society, most of the things are, either hidden, kept hidden, or controlled. And it's not considered to be normal and okay to talk about the bad things. But yes, toxicity exists. And if not now, then when? We need to talk and address the toxicity and create a happy atmosphere for our mental well-being. And yes, so now let me start off with the topic. So, growing up, we all, you all must have felt, I felt it. So, let me say it in this way. Growing up, I felt unloved, I felt very controlled, and I felt as if my boundary was never respected. I felt, constantly, being critiqued, judged, and punished for being myself. So yes, and as an adult, because of all that I went through in the childhood, as an adult, I had anxiety issues. Rather, I still have anxiety issues, depression, unhealthy coping skills, and a lot of relationship problems I had in the past. So all of this toxicity doesn't enhance you. Instead, it messes you up. So one should actually, talk about it, create awareness, so that others can also benefit from it. And of course, there is, mental wellness is something which is very important. And a lot of these counselor supports are now coming up. Psychology is being talked about, and it's becoming popular, at least in our country. But other countries have really moved on. They have well developed, psychological centers, lots of studies and articles they publish, and they keep on doing a lot of research and do a lot of, these research about these psychological issues and how it impacts the quality of human life. So now coming back to the topic of toxic mother. So let us understand how a relationship becomes toxic. See, a relationship only becomes toxic when there is over expectation. Then there is constant comparison. The relationship is always a little abusive, a lot of emotional abuse happening in it. These are, few of the points that actually make a relationship toxic. So we are talking about 8 or 9 signs about the toxic mothers. So the first sign is that a toxic mother was always, overreact to the differences of opinion. So it is always that her opinion is the right opinion, and your opinion is wrong opinion. So that is one of the first traits. And also, if you see, these kind of mothers who have these traits or signs, they go to any limit and extent, to make, belittle you, or to you really shatter your self-esteem to such an extent that you develop codependency, emotional codependency on them. And you always seek the validation, and you always seek their approval for every tiny thing, because they already in the first place shatter up your self-esteem. And that is how the control is established. If you have self-esteem, and if you are being respected for who you are, you wouldn't be that easy to be controlled. So in order to establish control, self-esteem has to be really reduced to zero, and that is how the control mechanism works. So the first thing is that a toxic mother is she overreacts, And on any of the slightest of difference of opinion, there is like, you have done something really massive, crazy, atrocious, that has really shaken the entire existence and reality of this world. So that is how they react, because it's not their way. And if you're saying something which they don't agree to, their reaction is like crazy. The second sign is that she makes excessive demands of you. So I mean, demanding is fine. I, being a child, used to make a lot of demands to the parent, but they used to say no. And on the contrary, if you see, they had huge list of demands. I had to perform good. I had to be morally good. I had to be a obedient child. I had to be a good student. I had to respect all the teachers. I had to say yes all the time. I was prohibited from saying no to things that I did not like. So I mean, it's isn't it really funny that uh, the kids' demands are shut. I'm just trying to bring about a healthy comparison. The kids' demands are shut, saying no, but their demands are imposed. So that is one of the signs of a toxic mother. They will have a lot of demands that, I want you to do this, I want you to do that. It almost becomes as if you are like, you are someone who will fulfill their dreams. Dreams are individual, goals, ambition, it's an individual thing. You have to accomplish it. Someone else won't be doing it for you, right? So this is the problem with toxic mothers, that they have got huge list of demands from you, and it is never ending. And if you don't fulfill the demands, you won't get that validation card. You won't get that appreciation. So you might often feel that you're going on doing things, but you're not being appreciated for what you're doing. So there is this emotional disconnect, and that is because they are excessively, or they are just obsessed to get what they want rather than looking into what you want. So that was one of the signs of a toxic mother. Their demands are just endless. It goes on and on and on. Now the next sign is that a toxic mother always uses manipulation to get what she wants. So I'll tell you the common dialogues of a toxic mother would be, I have kept you 9 months, so I have autonomy over your life. This is one of the common statements that they use to manipulate the child and guilt tripping the child. In the first place, if you see, I mean, if my mother says that, my first question would be, I never asked to bring me here, right? It was her decision to have sex and have kids. It was not my decision. So I mean, guilt tripping me by saying that I kept you 9 months in her womb, I don't think that absolutely makes sense, or that is a very rational approach to combat any situation or to handle any circumstances. So I find it to be very abusive, and that is one of the signs of a toxic mother, when they say that, oh, I have carried you for 9 months, now you have to do what I want. So that is absolute emotional blackmailing, that can be termed up as emotional abuse that goes. And this is one of the common statements. The other statements are, oh, I have spent sleepless nights in taking care of you, in changing your diapers and feeding you. I mean, if it's obvious, if you're having a child, you got to do all that thing. The child is not knocking on the door and asking that, please bring me here. You are bringing it. You are responsible to take care of the child and give a good upbringing. But you cannot use that to emotionally blackmail the child, right? So this is what I wanted to clear out here. So this is how these abusive or toxic mothers use these kind of things to further manipulate and get their things done. Suppose if you're not doing something which they like, then they will, oh, I have spent so many years sleepless nights, I have carried you for 9 months. It goes on. So I mean, like, it's not healthy. It impacts the child, and certainly, I mean, like, it messes up the child. The child gets into a lot of pressure, a lot of pressure, and you're just making I would like to tell this to all the mothers who are using this trick. You're just messing up your child, and your child is going to be having a lot of relationship problems when the child grows up. And if you want your child to be truly independent, stop blackmailing and using all these things for leverage and any kind of manipulation to get your work done. Now, the other, symptom that I would like to talk about when it comes to toxic mother is that, she always fails to respect your boundaries. Now, when it comes to these kind of, you can say, I mean, like narcissist kind of a mother or a toxic mother, they respect their boundaries, but they don't respect your boundaries. You are absolutely boundaryless. They will decide everything. And the moment they will decide everything growing up, you would have very a huge amount of low self-esteem growing up. You would just be like an open book. You would feel very prone, you wouldn't feel safe and secure, and you would have that low self-esteem issues, because anyways, oh okay, I mean, like, I don't get to choose or decide. Mother will choose and decide. And that further increases the codependency of the child on mother so much that they become handicapped in a lot of ways. They can't make major decisions without the intervention of the mother, or her influence, or her coming into the scene. And I mean, most of the decisions are not right. So I mean, by removing all the boundaries, or by not respecting the child's boundary, it hurts the child. The child doesn't grow up to be strong and independent. The child becomes a little weak, and it impacts emotionally and psychologically. No matter what theories, I mean, like, no matter what theories these mothers present and these people present, but these kind, I mean, every child has autonomy of himself or herself over his life. And growing up, definitely as a parent, you can guide them what is right and wrong, but you just cannot keep on removing the boundaries and making their life boundaryless under your supervision. So yes, we should respect their autonomy, and we should respect their self-esteem. We should respect their confidence. We should respect their individuality. So I mean, like, toxic mothers, it doesn't make sense to toxic mothers. They don't believe in any kind of boundaries. They want to get involved in everything, and they want to take charge of everything. So I mean, like, you can either say it's a toxic mother or a narcissistic mother. The next symptom or sign would be that toxic mothers never, I mean, rather I would say, toxic mother always, puts down your accomplishment. They never talk high about your accomplishment. She won't be happy. She would be happy for some time, but she won't keep talking about it. She knows that if she will boost it up, if she is going to keep praising you about it, you might start taking charge of your own life. You might start feeling more confident, and you might not bank on her. So in order to constantly cut through your confidence source, she would never praise you for your accomplishments. She would never talk high about your accomplishments. She would say, yeah, it's good, but at the in the last, she is going to add one more statement. Oh, I have worked so hard, it is because of that. So how manipulative this is, like the dark manipulation that these women do. And trust me, I mean, the children's life is hell. We can see what kind of society we are living in. And mental health is not talked about. These issues are not talked about. And I mean, you can see what's happening. It's dysfunctional society, dysfunctional family system that we are having. See, I mean, there is no point, or rather, I would say, there is no logic behind constantly denying that, oh no, we are perfect society, we have got perfect family system. No, I'm so sorry. If it would have been the case, we would have been like how our ancestors were in ancient time. We would have been an evolved race, not like this, absolutely dysfunctional, superficial. So yes, that is one of the symptoms of a toxic mother. She won't, she would always put down your accomplishments. She won't talk much about it. And if she has to talk about it, she's going to say, oh, it is because I did it, you have maybe got this. So that is one of the symptoms of a toxic mother to look out for. The other one is that toxic mothers are very, very, very much into hurting you with her words and actions. They really know how to hurt you and get the work done. So most of the dynamics of a toxic mother and her children is that there is no praises, there is no good words or motivation. There is just this emotional abuse. In certain cases, there is physical abuse as well, corporal punishments, I mean, given by the parents, and a lot of these weird things happening during childhood. And the entire reason behind doing all of these things is to establish more control over yourself. So I mean, like the more they give you physical punishment, or verbal arguments, harsh words, abusive words, often it gets abusive as well. I mean, like, it's not new. I have seen it in my family. I mean, like, my parents were pretty abusive. They used to abuse us like left and right. And I think that was basically to vent out their frustration, and also to control us, to belittle us, to guilt trip us, and to, inject in shame and abuse us so that we feel miserable, and again then we fall on our knees and accept whatever they are saying. So that is also one of the manipulation strategies used by these toxic mothers. The other one is that a toxic mother refuses to apologize. A toxic mother never apologizes. See, in a fair relationship, if there is something wrong, one should apologize if they feel that they have done something wrong, and immediately the relationship, all the problem in that relationship resolves, and everything goes back to normal and fine. But when it comes to a toxic relationship, and especially a toxic relationship between a mother and a child, the mother's ego is elevated to a different level, where she feels that there is no need to apologize to a child. Fine, I have slapped the child, I have got right, because I have kept it 9 months in my stomach. So I have kept 9 months in my womb. I can slap, I can beat the shit out of the child because I own it. The child doesn't have autonomy. That is how these mothers think, these toxic mothers think. And what does this do? This makes the family dysfunctional, and this makes the child also traumatized. And I'm sure in other videos that I have made, you must have come across how all these childhood traumas affect adults growing up. And also, I mean, like, often the abused becomes abuser in most of the cases. So that is one of the points that we need to understand, that apologizing doesn't belittle you. You have to keep your egos aside, and in every fair relationship, if it is needed, one should apologize, even if it is a young one or a elder one. I mean, mistakes can be done from anyone can do mistakes, and seeking apology is no shame. So one needs to keep aside their ego, and in any relationship, and always have this room to apologize or to appreciate. So are you understanding? With these kind of toxic relationships, either husband, wife, child, parent, the appreciation is not there. The appreciation is there, but with a label that it is because of me you have got this. And apart from that, they have this no apology business. So they don't apologize. They say, oh, I was just angry. It's okay. I hope you're okay. I was angry. I just lost it. I mean, just say sorry. What's wrong? You won't become a daughter. Mother will remain a mother, right? So these kind of dysfunctional aspects in toxic relationship actually further messes up the child. Trust me, I have seen a lot. Most of the people avoid talking about it, because they want to, I mean, our society is pretty hypocrite. They want to stay in that dream or Eldorado that oh no, everything is good, we all are sanskaris, we all are highly intelligent sensual beings, and we have walked this face of earth with utter wisdom and utmost sanity. So I mean, we need a reality check. All that stupidity is okay for one-sided presentation on social media, but in reality, mental health is very essential, and people should talk about these things so that there is an awareness and people know how to handle such things. Now, moving on to the next point, we have seen the apologizing thing that they don't do. The other point is that she always tries to control you. So, I mean, this is one of the signs of a toxic mother, that she always tries to control you, even if it makes sense, if it doesn't make sense, even if you want anything or if you don't want anything, they are always ready to control you. I mean, control what you do, control what you like, control what you see, control what you sleep with, control what you eat, control what, I mean, there is a very OCD, obsessive compulsive kind of a behavior or response, whereas they just want to control everything. I mean, like, apart from breathing and shitting and pissing, I mean, they are ready to control anything and everything. I mean, I wouldn't say that a little control is not good. A little control is good if you have to control and create some healthy boundaries. But becoming a control freak after your child has become independent, I don't think that makes sense. After a certain age, the child should be allowed to explore, understand, and handle their own business, rather than constant intervention and interruption and interrogation, and this getting into the children's business. So that doesn't help the child. Instead, it makes the child emotionally handicapped, whereas they would constantly be, either they become mama boys, or they just become so codependent on their parents that they don't have any emotional connect with their partners that they get married to. This is how these dysfunctional marriages happen, these arranged marriages. It's all in such a controlled environment, whereas in the husband and wife, they don't have that love chemistry, and the son has to just do what the parent is wanting. The marriage is absolutely dysfunctional. It doesn't make sense. So a lot of these things happen, and I think it's high time that we should talk about it. And if it doesn't feel good, we should have that autonomy to say no. If something is not feeling good, if you're not feeling right, if you're not feeling good with something, or with some imposition or something that the parent is saying which you're not feeling good, you have the right to say no. And I'm not saying that outright become crazy and become disobedient. Being obedient doesn't mean that you become a cat or a dog. So obedience is there, respect is there, but yes, I mean, like, individuality is also there, and a child should be respected for their individuality, and their independence should also be respected, right? So this is one of the points. And apart from that, another, I mean, the last and the most important point of a toxic mother is that she lacks empathy. Now, empathy is an ability to consider and understand another person's emotional experience, right? uh, it plays an important role in parenting. The parent has to connect on an emotional level with the child and understand what the child is feeling. But I mean, if you see in a toxic mother, that emotional connect is not there. you know um, the toxic mother would say, oh, you are just being very weak, or you are just being very coward, or you're being very timid, or you're being very unruly, or you're being this, or you're being that. But they never come down to a point where they try and understand and see things the way how you are seeing and experiencing. So there is an emotional disconnect. It's dysfunctional, right? I mean, like, it's a mother and a child relationship, but it's mostly mother's orders has to be imposed. What the child is thinking, the mother doesn't think it in that way. The mother just disregards this as saying that, oh, you're very naughty, or you're very disobedient, or you're very unruly, or you are this, or you are that. So they just dismiss. These toxic mothers, they don't have empathy. They just dismiss your emotional turbulence that the child is going through. And also, if you see, these kind of toxic mothers often lack empathy with their children, and are inconsistent in expressing love, understanding, and warmth. They don't regularly express love, and the warmth is missing in the relationship, right? It's just dismissed. Oh, you are emotional. Oh, you're not a girl, you can't cry, you're a boy. Are you understanding? I mean, everyone has gone through all of these things. I mean, like often my parents used to say, when I used to cry, they used to say, "Oh, what are you crying? Why are you wasting time? Go wash your face and do this." And it was like, and I used to feel so hurt that my parents just dismissed. If I'm crying or if I felt bad with something, they just dismissed outright. So that is where I mean, you know what kind of a relationship is that. We can't keep on hiding and we can't keep on fabricating lies and living a false relationship, under the pretext of, being a good society and evolved society. No, what is wrong, right? And also, if you see, I mean, like when it comes to, toxic mothers lack empathy, uh, this could possibly, there could be a possibility that they also come from a toxic family and they themselves have never experienced empathy, right? So they are unable to express empathy to their children also. So it could have been, that they were also never exposed to empathy, and that is the reason they are failing to show empathy towards the child's emotional, episode. And unfortunately, I mean, like the lack of empathy can actually lead a very poor bond between a parent and a child. So empathy is very essential when you're dealing with child, and that strengthens the bond. If empathy is not there, it's not a healthy and a good relationship. And after all this, my final thoughts, I mean, on this topic is that, growing up in a toxic environment can also help how you interact with your own children. So someone has to put a full stop. I mean, we have to heal what we have gone through. We have to heal so that we don't make our children suffer, right? Some people may find themselves continuing the same pattern with their families, and they swear that they wouldn't. They think that they are not doing it, but in a way they are doing the same thing. What they have experienced in their family, they are doing it with their children. And therapy is very essential if you have or anyone has such problems. Psychological therapy, psychiatric therapy, a lot of these mental health therapies are available that can also help you recognize. And I mean, like that can help you identify how your past is affecting you. So you need to fix up what is affecting from the past, what is affecting you from the past, and then maybe, I mean, like you can spread that happiness with others as well. We have to heal, and the entire idea behind this video is to create awareness so that, we understand what is good and bad and how we need to deal with it. Giving up is not the solution, but managing things is actually, the right way to keep moving forward. So yes, I hope you all like this video. Please do share it with I mean, like whoever you think deserves to know this and understand this. Or if you are having a toxic mother, or if you have any such experience, or if you know someone who's having a toxic mother, you can share this video and create more awareness. And yes, we have to create awareness and create more mental wellness. Once we are fit and fine here, this can be fit and fine too. So yes, just be happy. Remember, you are the best. And please do like, share, subscribe the channel, and share this video with all your friends. Thank you so much. Have a great day ahead. Bye.